You got a couple niggas indicted.
No, I didn't get anybody indicted.
You got a couple niggas indicted.
I didn't get a single person indicted. Who the
I wanted to slap you in your face, honestly.
See, and y'all at the age where y'all can sneak in her dressing room when she's getting dressed and she wouldn't trip. You know what I'm saying? They can see her naked and they wouldn't trip. It's like, oh, it's just them. She get dressed in front of y'all.
Hide in the club.
Leave a nigga lying flat like a flapjack. Run the whole game like a damn halfback. Man, I pull up in a whiff from Mad Max. Matter of fact, switch that out.
What's up, YouTube? It's KayHon, aka KayHon puts you on, and today we're talking about the current state of hip-hop journalism. As always, if you guys like the content, make sure you like and subscribe, and comment down below what you think. But let's get into it. And growing up, I didn't hear nothing about no music journalism. Okay, I'm a little kid, I don't hear nothing. But, okay, I'm not unk status, but I would listen to old hip-hop, like Notorious B.I.G. I think my mom would have that on all the time, and so we'd hear that. So the first kind of lyrics that I hear, Notorious B.I.G. talking about the Word Up magazine.
It was all a dream. I used to read Word Up magazine. Salt and pepper and heavy D up in the limousine.
Salt and heavy D up in the limousine. Whatever he's talking about, okay? By the time I'm growing up, magazine culture is a little shoddy. Okay, it's a little shoddy. When I'm growing up in the early 2000s, you don't really have magazines. But this is kind of the start of like kind of the mainstream hip-hop journalism. I mean, you see this with magazines like Word Up Magazine, which is just a magazine that would talk about a whole bunch of range of music things, like you would expect kind of in like a newspaper now. But they had different things. I mean, they had advertisements like regular magazines did as well, but sometimes they talk about like drama within the music space. They're talking about up-and-coming artists within the music space, like Leo would be on the front page, or you'd have LL Cool J on the front page. And that was kind of your introduction of like, oh shoot, this is where the next up-and-coming artist is, or this is the artist on the rise, and here's an interview excerpt within this magazine. And then moving forward, kind of in the magazine space, you kind of have something like The Source, and The Source would be around until I believe like the early 2000s, until its relevancy kind of just faltered off. We've moved greatly from that. I think we've kind of really got disconnected from that original style of magazine, especially with the evolution of radio shows. It's very early on, I mean, television took over. So magazines kind of weren't going to be as popular because like, where are you looking? You're going to be looking on your television. So this is kind of where I started to kind of get introduced to hip hop being on my television. Now, I didn't have cable growing up. So the things that I was kind of seeing were like BET excerpts, BET like freestyles. Within this kind of freestyle culture that we had within BET, I think kind of an evolution of radio show freestyles is also happening. I remember seeing in the Kanye documentary, he was doing a freestyle on a radio show early on. You had people like Sway in the morning doing radio show freestyles. We have people like Big Boy's Neighborhood, where he's interviewing people on the radio as well. And so radio kind of took over in terms of the landscape of journalism, what journalism was supposed to be within hip-hop. Now that the magazine was gone, we had to go to a more audio format. Now these did evolve into video formats, like we see with Sway, like we see with Big Boy's Neighborhood, even with the BET freestyles were also online, were like really big when I was growing up. They would have like 106 in Park. I didn't grow up really with 106 in Park, but that was a huge program within BET. And they would have artists on there doing interviews like Nas. I think it was hosted by like Lil Bow Wow. Shout out Lil Bow Wow, by the way. We gotta shout out Lil Bow Wow. And they would have different artists on there just kind of talking, previewing their music. I think they had performances as well on there. So 106 in Park is like brought up a lot in terms of like the up and coming music show that existed. As I was talking about with the freestyles, 106 in Park I think also had freestyles as well. BET was probably the biggest freestyle thing that I engaged with, was BET. I remember very early on the Kendrick Lamar BET freestyle. Y'all couldn't tell me Kendrick wasn't the best rapper when that came out. Like, he was talking about turning his shoddy into a verb.
Master Jeffrey, jump on the curb, turn the shoddy to a verb. If you let me, you know I'm a killer. I'm on your head, you know I'm a killer.
I freaked out, bro. When he said that, I was like really learning about verbs at a high level, and I was like, oh my gosh, he's gonna use his shotgun as a verb. That's what he was talking about. I was freaking out. BET also had interviews. BET also had the award show, like Hip Hop Award Show. They did great things in terms of like kind of trying to highlight artists, and like as we've seen in recent times, BET has really fallen off in terms of the award show. Grammys is what's looked at the most. So then we kind of see the fall off of BET. We kind of see that hip-hop journalism is something that is spread in various different directions. And even while I'm talking about it, you're like, okay, like, what exactly is hip-hop journalism? It seems to be all these different things: audio format, video format, physical newspaper format, maybe a magazine. And so that's a good question. What is hip-hop journalism as we know it today?
I have gripes with that word journalism, because I just feel like the people that I've seen that are coming up and are commenting on music are doing more than just journalism. We are a lot, and I think we are more powerful when we kind of band together. Because there's a journalist, there are people that study journalism in university and are on their high horse that they're journalists.
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot of us that are doing the groundwork, you know, and are actually connecting with people and building our own community, and people that genuinely just want to speak about a positive side to music. And I'm just happy.
I talked with a few music journalists, Adam Dash being one of them, and Elsie, not Elise, on basically that, hip-hop journalism. And these are two people who have done a lot of interviews with different artists. Elsie, not Elise, has done like Schoolboy Q, I think has done a producer series as well, done a whole bunch of different artists. Adam Dash, the same thing. He's interviewed a lot of producers. He interviewed different artists. Like, I know he interviewed someone from Earth Gang. So I thought they'd be great representations of kind of like the current state of hip-hop culture. So we see journalism in many different places. Definition for journalism is the activity or profession of writing for newspapers, magazines, or news websites, or preparing news to be broadcasted. And I think that or preparing news to be broadcasted is huge, but it also encapsulates a lot of different people. It encapsulates a large group of people. And when you kind of break off from this like core of hip-hop journalism, people who are really invested in the sport and rap, we kind of get to the era of gossip. Now, gossip has always been within human nature. I'm not saying this is a new thing to hip-hop journalism. This isn't unique to hip-hop journalism. However, I think gossip has taken over a lot of aspects within hip-hop. And I think this kind of started with, I don't want to like point the finger at like one specific person, but when I think of like TV personalities that like really started gossip, I mean, we have like Wendy Williams, who was talking about Kanye all the time negatively.
You know what, Sierra, you don't have to rush to this wedding. You go to the next one. Clearly, Reggie has a type. And who'd you rather, him or the madman?
In hindsight, she might have been right. However, she was talking about Kanye negatively in relation to Kim Kardashian. She's talked about other rappers and producers kind of in a gossip format, not really talking about their music. However, we're talking about their life and how they handle themselves and how all these other things. And she would throw shade. She was kind of the queen of shade. And I'll give it to Wendy. She was cooking people. I can't lie. Okay, when I look back at her stuff and I'm looking for this video, I'm like, okay, Wendy's cooking these people. Not to say that she's doing the right thing, but she was entertaining. She did gossip content on TV. She was really the biggest person that I knew where I was like, okay, she is messy. I didn't really see that in other aspects of hip-hop discourse and media discourse. However, we have people like TMZ. TMZ, another thing. Gossip, mad gossip. They're trying to get the craziest thing of all time that they can. They're trying to interview Kanye when he's obviously going through stuff. They're trying to interview people right after their friends just died. Like, they don't care, bro. Like, TMZ is looking to get any type of story. And for some reason, I feel like whenever I saw TMZ, it was always in relation to like a lot of music stuff. And maybe that's because I was heightened to it and I was looking for that maybe. But I always remember them like really focused on music artists. I mean, even like Justin Bieber and like things that he was going through. So I think they definitely had an impact within kind of the music space, even within Kanye's life. I remember him cussing them out and stuff. And so we kind of hit this era of gossip bloggers, kind of past this radio show. Though it was happening in kind of the radio show era as well. I mean, like Breakfast Club was doing that. I think local radio shows, even as I was growing up, was also participating in gossip. However, like, I think within the mainstream, and because it was so much more accessible on YouTube, on kind of just like mainstream television, you didn't have to like necessarily be there for that specific moment. They would have reruns, or you could like record it and watch it later. It was so accessible that I think it just kind of spread. And as it spread, I think people kind of realized like, oh, I like gossip. I like drama within this music space. And I think it kind of bred an environment to where that became really, really profitable. Then you have, when we start getting to the YouTube format, we have people like The Breakfast Club having Charlemagne trying to get clips. This man was clip farming before clip farming was a term.
I'm hearing 35-year-old women coming to y'all shows and coming to y'all in-stores.
Nice.
Y'all better take advantage of some of that vintage vagina.
Now also you guys recently opened up for Janet Jackson. How was that?
That was amazing. She's an icon.
See, and y'all the age where y'all can sneak in her dressing room when she's getting dressed and she wouldn't trip. You know what I'm saying? They could see her naked and they wouldn't trip. It's like, oh, it's just them. She get dressed in front of y'all.
This man was talking to kids about like doing the dirty with people, like a group of kids. He was talking to women, telling about he wanted to sniff their seat, like asking Logic when the last time his sister was touched, like. And these are the things that blew up The Breakfast Club. These are the things that I would always see about The Breakfast Club. It was never about the music. It was never about how do we actually feel about this Nicki Minaj album. It was, oh, what is this crazy, outrageous clip that Charlemagne just said? Did you hear Charlemagne said this X, Y, and Z? I go to school, people are talking about The Breakfast Club clips. But are they talking about the actual album? No. They don't talk about the actual album. Are they talking about, like, what's happening in so-and-so's life? Yeah. They talk about the drama. They're not talking about the music. And that's because that's what gets clicks. And I think that's within human nature, but also that's within this culture that has been propagated by trying to make money. Shoot. I mean, this is capitalism. We trying to make bread, right? Like, we trying to get money. We got an engagement farm. Bad. We need to get everything that we can. We need to have clickbait titles. We need to have people to draw you in. And I don't want to sit on a high horse and say, I never clickbaited. I clickbait tomorrow. I clickbait today. But I think within even the content that was happening, all of it was supposed to drive engagement rather than actually getting to the story or getting to the point. I think we kind of see this evolution happen within today's journalism. And I think it's propagated by the gossip culture that was created in previous eras, within the magazine era, within the radio era, just trying to get the highest engagement, trying to make the most money. And you lose a lot of integrity and ethics. And that will bring me to one of the main points that I wanted to talk about in this video. A lot of the current hip-hop journalism that takes place is devoid of ethics, morals, and integrity. And when I say this, I'm not saying it's everybody, because obviously I talked to 2 music journalists for this video, and like I think they're amazing. I think they do great things, and they're really trying to get down to what's happening within the music space. However, there's a lot of bad apples, and they happen to run a lot of the music journalism game and have dominated for so long. I want to start off with who I think is not so bad. And Elliott Wilson is a very big music journalist. He was on Rap Radar. He's actually a solid music journalist. Like, he actually does interviews. He's on the ground, like, looking for different artists to interview. He does do cool interviews, and I think he did Rap Radar, and he interviewed Quincy Jones. He has a really famous Drake interview, and so there's no shade to Elliott Wilson himself. However, he was on Vlad TV. Vlad TV is kind of one of these music journalists, quote-unquote, that are devoid of ethics. Vlad TV will ask you anything to get you arrested. Like, this man is trying to get you arrested. There is clips of people calling him out.
You got a couple niggas indicted.
No, I didn't get anybody indicted.
You got a couple niggas indicted.
I didn't get a single person indicted. Who did I get indicted? Who did I get indicted?
I ain't about to open another indictment on who you indicted. But you fish. No. You feel me? You fish. And some of, you know what I mean, some of my peers and some of, you know what I mean, some of the people that sat in this seat aren't, I wouldn't say smart enough, but you feel me, aren't fast enough, you know what I mean, aren't witty enough or aren't intelligent enough to know when it's bait being swung their way or when they're supposed to dip the bait, you know what I mean, type shit. So hell yeah, you're definitely, you know when they say unknown CI, like it's you didn't do it, but hell yeah.
I mean, I don't work with the police. I don't cooperate.
No. He is an informant, damn near. He does the work of a detective. You don't even need the police. You just need Vlad TV, bro. Like, I'm telling you, if you watch Vlad TV interviews, he'll be like, he'll have you sitting here, and he'll be like, who did you murder last week? And they'll just be sitting there like, why are you asking me that? And it's like, you know Vlad's gonna ask you that, first of all. Like, you have had to have seen this format. But if that man has you in that room, and you're sitting there in silence, like, and he's asking you these questions, you're probably going to jail. Like, there is literally a conspiracy that Vlad TV is literally working with the police. That's how many people that have interviewed with them that have been to jail the next day. Vlad TV was talking about Elliott Wilson about music journalists, and Complex released a list, some of the best music journalists, and he was upset that another music journalist named Nadeska, who's one of my favorite interviewers, one of my favorite music journalists, mediators, like content creator personalities, like she's on an Apple show right now. She was on Complex. She worked with Complex for a very long time. She did Coachella interviews. There's a famous one with Vince Staples. She's one of my favorite music journalists, period. Like, she influenced a lot of how I kind of ask questions, how I kind of perceive music artists as a whole, and kind of how to approach them, how to like work with them. She is usually playing it cool. Like, she's always smooth in all of her interviews, and she's really cool about like what she's doing. Love Nadeska. Now, people on this list are cringe. They got DJ Akademiks, which we're gonna talk about for sure. They have Vlad TV. Sway's on there, which is good. And they had Nadeska at 20. Now, I thought Nadeska was ranked pretty well within this list, okay? If we're talking about engagement, I think she was ranked pretty fairly within 20. I think she should have been higher. For me, she would probably would have been top 5. But they put Joe Budden at 1. I think DJ Akademiks is 2. They had Ebro on there as well. And he was also Hot 97. He's also on the Apple show. I like Ebro. He's chill now. He ain't corny no more. However, Vlad TV and Elliott Wilson basically start talking about how Nadeska shouldn't even been on the list at all. And their reason wasn't because she's not a good journalist or that she doesn't have remarkable interviews. It was that
Nadeska. I've said this before. I don't really see her legitimately part of this list because she does get occasional interviews.
She has a show on Apple.
Apple. The interviews don't really get a lot of views. Like, for example, one of the things where as I went through the list was, she did 4 Bats first interview, but it got like 40,000 views.
Yeah.
So it's like...
And then it's like a debate show, not a debate show, but sort of like a roundtable show that her, Ebro, and Low Key do for Apple. Which, again, I don't feel like really has as
Never
many
even heard of
breakthrough
it.
moments. Yeah, but it exists.
Which says a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not a shot at those 3, but like I said, I just don't...
I think Nadeska is dope, but I can see her not making the list because of not enough impactful content.
It's not enough impact. It's not... I don't know her personally.
She's a dope journalist. She's from our breed. She's a journalist. She's a traditional journalist who's done on camera stuff now and elevated that way. So
it pissed me off. Like, I actually tweeted about it. I was like, "Are you guys being serious now?" Like,
yeah. And I don't know. I'm like, bro. Like, if the journalism is good, I don't care about the views. Like,
that's what I'm saying, and that's what I'm saying. Like, it doesn't really matter how much of an audience you're pulling in. If you're actually gonna start determining good journalism based on like the amount of people that are watching, when all your posts are structured for engagement, like, let's start being honest, you know?
Like, I could get mad views if I just start selling out. Like, that's easy.
Exactly.
Easy.
It's easy. It's actually really easy. If you actually want to play the game, it's easy.
These two, like, Vlad TV, especially, Elliott Wilson's fine to me, but Vlad TV, like I said, is trying to get people arrested. Like, he is literally clip farming to hell. He's, like, trying to get the juiciest cut of meat that he can, regardless of if he's going to kill the person. Like, he doesn't care about the people. And for him to have such an ego about, like, a music journalist who actually, like, cares about hip-hop and, like, rap and is passionate about the art is, like, insane to me. And it's crazy that Elliott Wilson even sits in a room with Vlad TV, given how Elliott Wilson actually tries to be like a real music journalist, trying to talk about the music, trying to talk about like where people are at within their space and like how they came to be. And it's very interesting to see that he would even align himself near somebody like Vlad TV. And it kind of shows me that like he doesn't care about like the integrity behind the journalism within hip-hop media, within rap media, within music media. Because Vlad TV and Akademiks are damn near the same. And if you guys don't know Akademiks, I've made like 3 videos on him. I do not like Akademiks. I'll put that on record. I'll put that on wax. I'm not a fan of Akademiks. Quick rundown of DJ Akademiks, if you haven't seen my videos. He does the same thing as Vlad TV, except instead of asking the people, he just talks about it. Like, he's almost worse than Vlad TV because he's not even going to the source. He's too scared to actually go to the source, go to these people that he's interviewing. Rather, he just assumes and glamorizes violence within hip-hop culture.
Crawled in the belly of the Chirac beast. The beast known as the Grim Reaper, as I like to call him. Chirac's Grim Reaper, Lil Reese.
And he would talk about kids being murdered within Chicago, and he would give them silly names. Like, he thought it was fun. Like, I call Lil Reese the Grim Reaper of Chicago because he has so many bodies. Like, he glamorizes and makes a spectacle out of, like, people dying and actual violence and gang violence. And he talks about these things as if they're not real. And it's really weird. It seems chronically online. He's disassociated with, like, what's happening around him. And it's very clear to see. I would say he's worse than DJ Vlad. Like, Vlad TV will actually go talk to the people. Akademiks isn't even doing that. Like, and I thought he was done, but I saw a video recently where he was watching, like, a Chicago, like, it's the same thing that he was doing, like, talking about gang violence, but, like, not being there. I think it was, like, Chicago Hood 88 or something like that. He was reviewing something crazy. And I saw that, and I thought he was done, but he's still going, still doing the same thing. He talked about the Drake and Kendrick beef in the same way, like, oh, Drake's ops are going to slide on Kendrick and kill people. And he says it like it's funny, bro. He says it like it's hilarious. I got beef with him. These people, like Vlad TV, DJ Akademiks. Also, I think it's important to note that Adam22, and who's the host of No Jumper, is also a large proponent in kind of this engagement baiting, clip farming, and privatization off of rappers. Most of the cases are black rappers.
I saw this video that alleged that it was you involved in this crazy ass shootout. What was that situation? Maybe it might not have been you. I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah, I don't think it was me.
Okay. But that wasn't related to any of the cases that you caught? Well played. Okay.
Them being in crimes, them doing illegal things, them being in controversies, fights. And he's been doing this for many, many years. He initially kind of had a cool starting platform with rappers like XXXTentacion, Ski Mask the Slump God. He was very early on with, like, doing interviews with, like, Lil Pump, and it really felt like a lot of his journalism starting out was in the benefit of, like, up-and-coming artists, and it quickly devolved into this kind of engagement baiting, drama-filled content. And I think it kind of goes to show kind of how easily that views and money can influence what could have been a really cool platform. He was also really into, like, he owned a BMX shop in LA. He was really into, like, skating culture, and that kind of all just went away. Now he's doing, like, more OnlyFans content with his wife and has a lot of drama surrounding his entire platform. Not only the artists and things that he brings on, but within his own environment. He has different podcasters fighting. He has Whack 100 on there, who's an old rapper, I think, and manager, fighting other people as well. So we have a lot of different dramas surrounding Adam22. It kind of has a weird dichotomy that this white man is profiting off of kind of the stereotypes that surround black people. And that's kind of how he centers his content. All the thumbnails are going to be black people, and the titles and the things filling that content are either going to be about sex, money, drugs, or violence. Or all three, all four of those things. And yeah, it's just interesting to see that a platform that could have been really cool and beneficial was so taken over by this engagement farming.
One, like, I love Annabelle and Elsie because they make content around people they truly enjoy. And I talked to Annabelle about this because I've never really looked at my views. They're low, but it's like the reality of interviewing a rising artist. It's not the interview that's going to do incredible. So it's like, I do it because I genuinely enjoy this artist and I want to, like, shout them out. And I asked her about that, and she's like, yeah, like, she tussles with that, but, like, she would love to get 100,000 views, but the interview might get 10,000 views, which is still incredible. And I think you can feel when the interviewer genuinely cares or the journalist actually cares.
I think people that are glamorizing kind of hip-hop culture of, like, violence almost, and, like, profiting off of the era of drill, where people were literally talking about killing people within their songs, glamorizing literal, like, kids having beef with other kids. They call themselves journalists. Akademiks says he's the greatest hip-hop journalist on the planet. but I wouldn't really consider that journalism. Like, especially DJ Akademiks is speculating. He's no better than a gossip blog. He's no better than the Shade Room, who just talks about whatever, bro. He's no better than World Star Hip Hop, talking about people's relationships. He is worse than those people. Vlad TV is almost worse than those people. Yes, he's interviewing the actual people, but he doesn't really care about hip hop. Like, he aligns himself near hip hop, like within this hip hop adjacent space, claims he's for hip hop, but he only cares about the gossip, the violence, everything outside of hip hop that might influence the music. This rapper that he's talking to might be talking about his ops or whoever, X, Y, and Z. However, Vlad TV doesn't care about the music.
Whenever I come across like a clip of Akademiks or Vlad TV, one thing I usually like, and this is without fail, I very rarely see them actually talking about the music. Like,
yeah,
I rarely see them being like, I don't like this song because of like a genuine reason. Like, okay, I thought the production fell flat, or no, it's just like engagement driven hype cycles. Like, they're just constantly just saying anything to just garner that engagement on social media. And to me, that's just like, it's kind of lame.
He cares about the violence, and that's where I think the integrity is lost, the ethics is lost. Like, just being a human, like, just the human connection, like, these are real people, and, like, he's going through very real things. Like, you're talking to a person who, like, was probably initiated into a gang as a kid, and you're laughing about him going through his stuff, or asking him in this deadpan voice, so what, can you tell me what happened when you got jumped by so-and-so?
Chief Keef didn't like me, Dirt didn't like me. I mean, I think they grew to understand that the content was not just negative, right?
No, it was clowny. It was just negative, man.
No.
Like, come on, boy.
You don't think it was nothing constructive about it?
There was nothing constructive about it. And I'm going to tell you, there's a video that you put up about a person named Trey 57 making all these jokes. Oh, here's another Chirac savage. Like, this guy's stupid. He messed with the Grim Reaper. Like, nigga, this is not a video game. That's a nigga I grew up with. I've known since I was 5 years old. And to see you come on the internet and, like, with this corny ass little voice and make jokes about it, like, you know, I was waiting to see you.
And I think ethics within the game has been lost. Like, people don't do it for the game no more. Like, these people are not doing it for the game. They're doing it for engagement. And they've said it themselves. Elliot Wilson doesn't think Jessica should be on the list because she's not doing it for engagement. DJ Vlad thinks the same thing. Akademiks claims he's the best hip-hop journalist. He sucks. Like, it's crazy, bro. And when I say these things, I don't want it to get lost that there's no positive hip-hop journalists, that there's no good hip-hop journalists. There's two in here that I talk to who I think are amazing, who I watch their content every week, pretty much. Elsie and Adam do a great job. And I talk to them about, like, kind of their experience within the hip-hop culture and, like, hip-hop journalism culture, and kind of who they think are good up-and-coming music journalists.
There's so many. I'm probably gonna, like, forget a lot of names.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, you are one person. I have people that are alongside me, like Annabelle, Damon, you know, and what she's built with That Good Shit, and what Damon is doing with music curation. I have a lot of people that even starting to work behind the scenes to help me with the community I'm building. I have people like Brian and Nosa. And then I have a lot of people that are also behind the scenes as well. Honestly, when it comes to like music curation, there are just so many names. Every time I go on the internet, Instagram, TikTok, like Twitter, I just see so many people that actually you could tell just have a genuine love for music. And it's just, that's why I'm very open to, like, you asked me to do this video, I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna do it, you know. And yeah, I just remembered my friend Asar, he also does like YouTube documentaries just talking about the music.
Oh,
so there's just people, to be honest. And
watch, and I know Annabelle and Elsie definitely have, that when they tweet about something they like, people listen to it because they're like, Elsie doesn't just tweet about anything.
Oh, yeah.
She tweets about music she likes.
And this goes hand in hand with, like, kind of how music journalism has spread in different ways. So we've talked about these different mediums, but, like, there's also people on Twitter. Like, I don't want to forget, like, I think that's how I initially found Elsie Not Elise. I found her through Twitter. Same with Adam Dash. I think I found him on Twitter too. And so kind of as we see this like different forms of hip hop journalism arise, we see it taking different forms. Like we see these Twitter spaces, like For the Record, that Elsie hosts, and her space. Amazing space. Like they just talk about music. It's a good time. People give polls. It's a great space. So shout out For the Record for sure. I'm in there every day reading what people are saying. I don't comment because like I don't like Twitter, but I'd be honest. Or someone like I Breathe Music Daily has a Discord. And he loves talking about music, promoting music. Another like hip hop journalist. And it may not be doing interviews directly, but he's promoting these artists, talking about these artists, talking about what he likes, and actually doing it for the love of the game, to my knowledge, from what I see. There's like Annabelle Klein who talks about, she does interviews as well, and Elsie and Adam both highlight her. And she has that good shit as well, where they are interviewing people as well. So there's a lot of great music journalists. The Real Ones in Chicago, big shout out to them. They do really, really good work, have really good interviews as well. And I've done some work with them too. They're amazing. Ghetto Flower has some documentaries about different rappers within the city of Chicago. They do amazing. Kids Take Over, I want to highlight as well. He does amazing, amazing work. They do great interviews over there. Like he has done inspirational stuff too that got me like, okay, I need to lock in. So I don't want to say there's no good hip-hop journalists. There definitely are good hip-hop journalists. And I want to make sure that's very, very clear. And so I want to get into like what makes kind of a good hip-hop journalist in my eyes, and like how I think people should move from today forward, how I think DJ Vlad and Akademiks could improve. And I also ask kind of like Elsie Not Elise and Adam Dash kind of their thoughts on hip-hop journalism too, and if they like, if there's anything within the interview that I did with them, or conversation that I had with them, I'll definitely put them in here too. But some things that I'd like to see within hip-hop journalism kind of change is like, I think having engaging content is amazing. I think if you're talking to an artist and they say something that you're like, okay, this is good to share, that's beautiful. However, I would like to see less people make content just to make content. For people's initial thing not to be like, oh, I want to like tell a story within the interview that I'm doing, or like ask these questions for the sake of engagement. People need to stray away from that and ask because they're genuinely curious and they're fans. Like, you should not be going to hip-hop journalism to make money. You should not be going to hip-hop journalism like to profit off of these artists' trauma. Go because you like it. If you want to go make money, be like a software engineer or like an investment banker. You'll be way richer than most of these people, bro. Like, Akademiks got money, don't get me wrong, but you can make so much more money if you do anything else. Like, you can make a good amount of money on average than most of these people, bro. You want to go be a millionaire, bro? Go to San Francisco and be in the tech industry. Like, I'm telling you, the homies that I got in music journalism don't make nearly as much money as the people I know doing startups. I'm going to let you know right now. So you should definitely do it for the love of the game. You can make money in music journalism 100%, but do it because you love it, not because you want to make money. Not because you think it's funny to talk about people's like gossip or like their drama. That's my first thing. Okay, that's my first gripe that I think could be improved. And like, if you want to go into that. Also, just like being engaged within your community, like finding community within people around you, talking to people, having a fun time, enjoy life. You know what I'm saying? Like, when I be seeing DJ Vlad and Akademiks, I don't think they be having fun. Like, they don't be looking like they be having fun. So I don't know. They don't got a cool vibe. So find people that you want to talk to, you want to engage with, that you're cool with, that you're gonna have fun with, have fun working with. Find your own community and build your community. If you don't have one, build one. Adam Dash talked about writing for his high school paper, and like that's how he interviewed Taylor Bennett.
You know what? I'll give you a good story. I was in my school newspaper, and this connects to journalism. My first interview ever was with Taylor Bennett, so Chance the Rapper's brother.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you're Chicago, you know.
Yeah.
And
if you don't necessarily have community yet, you can build the community. You can find the community. There's people like-minded like you within your space, probably right next door to you that you don't know. Another thing is like just being involved, supporting, having passion for the art of journalism, I think is my thing. And that's kind of where I want to leave this video off, is like I'm really optimistic for the future of hip-hop journalism. I think what I'm seeing now is an improvement from like where we've been at for the past couple of years within music journalism, within the glorification of a lot of gossip and drama. So I'm really excited. Again, check out all the journalists that I mentioned. I'll put their pictures like in the video and links in the description if I can, if I have the ability to. I want to thank you guys for tuning in. Stop by next week for more content, more video essays. Check out my other content down below as well. I got a channel where I do music reactions. I play video games. I live stream on Twitch. So all those links will be down in the description below. And thank you again to Elsie Not Elise and Adam Dash for letting me have a conversation with you guys. Too, they're a big help. Definitely check them out. I'll have them linked down in the description for sure. And yeah, thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you guys for all your support as always. I love you guys and appreciate you guys. Peace out. Be smooth.